Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone. Hi everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to Conversational Phrases. We've found that the best way to learn a language is to speak it from day one. And the best way to start speaking is to learn phrases that you'll use in real conversations. In this lesson, you'll learn conversational phrases to ask and answer the question, how do you say this? After watching this video, you'll be able to ask someone how a word is pronounced. And if you want to learn more vocabulary, phrases, and example sentences you can use in real-life situations, click the link in the description to download your How to Say Something PDF cheat sheet for free. Now, let's take a look at some conversational phrases.
Listen to the dialogue. How do you say this?
It's parking lot.
Listen to it again. How do you say this?
It's parking lot.
First of all, you'll need to learn how to say, how do you say this? That's, how do you say this? Listen to it again. How do you say this? How do you say this? Now, how do you answer this question? The pattern is
It's
word. For example, it's parking lot.
It's parking lot. It's parking lot.
Here are a few useful words you can use with the same pattern. Parking lot. Parking lot. Parking lot. Giraffe. 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 Travel. 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 Invasion. 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 Let's look at some examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers. How do you say this? It's giraffe. How do you say this? It's travel. How do you say this? It's invasion. Okay, now it's your turn. Do you remember how to say, how do you say this? How do you say this? Imagine it's the word giraffe. Do you remember how to say giraffe? Giraffe. Giraffe. Say, it's giraffe. It's giraffe. Now answer the question saying, it's giraffe. How do you say this? It's giraffe. Now imagine the word is travel. Do you remember how to say travel? Travel. Travel. Say, it's travel. It's travel. Now, answer the question saying it's travel. How do you say this? It's travel. Now imagine the word is invasion. Do you remember how to say invasion? Invasion. Invasion. Say, it's invasion. It's invasion. Now answer the question saying, it's invasion. How do you say this? It's invasion.
In this lesson, you learned new vocabulary and phrases you can use in your everyday life to ask someone how something is said. You are now able to ask how to say something like a native speaker. Start by practicing in the comments below. Tell us, which word do you think is the hardest to pronounce? Lastly, don't forget to click the link in the description and download your PDF cheat sheets. You'll get useful phrases you need for everyday life for free. See you in the next lesson. Bye! In this video, you'll learn 20 of the most common words and phrases in English. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. Welcome to the 800 Core English Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in English. But there's a twist. With each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important parts of learning a language. You can also get the full list right now at EnglishClass101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master English. Okay, let's get started. First is brush. 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 This word can be a noun or a verb. As a verb, it's used to talk about combing hair, as with a hairbrush, or cleaning teeth, as with a toothbrush. It's very important to brush your teeth twice a day. It is very important to brush your teeth twice a day. It is very important to brush your teeth twice a day. Shower. 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 Shower can be used as both a noun and a verb. As a verb, it means to clean your body by standing under water. The man showers in the morning. The man showers in the morning. The man showers in the morning. Wash. 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 To wash means to make something clean. We can use it to talk about our bodies, to talk about our clothes, our dishes, anything we want to clean. The woman is washing her face. The woman is washing her face. The woman is washing her face. Leave. 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 To leave means to remove yourself from a location, to go away from a place. I leave early tomorrow morning. I leave early tomorrow morning. I leave early tomorrow morning. Check. 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 Check can be both a noun and a verb. As a verb, it means to confirm something, to see if it's correct or not. As a noun, it refers to the bill, as in at a restaurant. Could I get the check, please? Could I get the check, please? Could I get the check, please? 66. 66. 66. 66 is the number after 65. I ran for 66 minutes. I ran for 66 minutes. I ran for 66 minutes. 77. 77. 77. 77 is the number after 76. His door number is 77. His door number is 77. His door number is 77. 88. 88. 88. 88 is the number after 87. The company has 88 employees. The company has 88 employees. The company has 88 employees. 99, 99, 99. 99 is the number just before 100. His grandfather is 99 years old. His grandfather is 99 years old. His grandfather is 99 years old. 100, 100, 100. 100 is the first three-digit number. There are 100 people in my school. There are 100 people in my school. There are 100 people in my school. Living room, living room, living room. The living room is a room in the house where people generally relax. It's very common to have a sofa, maybe chairs, a table, and a television in the living room. This living room is huge. This living room is huge. This living room is huge. Dining room, dining room, dining room. A dining room is a room that's specifically for eating or for dining. There's usually a table and some chairs. The dining room is next to the kitchen. The dining room is next to the kitchen. The dining room is next to the kitchen. Hallway, hallway, hallway. Hallway or hall refers to usually like a tunnel kind of, but inside a house. So from a hallway, you can access many different rooms. Don't run in the hallways. Don't run in the hallways. Don't run in the hallways. Apartment, apartment, apartment. An apartment is a style of home. So an apartment is one room or maybe one series of rooms inside a larger building. So that means there can be many apartments inside one building. Do you want to rent an apartment? Do you want to rent an apartment? Do you want to rent an apartment? House, house, house. A house is a style of residence that is a separate building itself. So one house has like one family living inside it. It's not shared. It's not part of a larger building. This is my house. This is my house. This is my house. Exercise, exercise, exercise. Exercise has a few different meanings, but we use it a lot to talk about working out, to do something that causes us to sweat for our health. Swimming is a good way to exercise. Swimming is a good way to exercise. Swimming is a good way to exercise. Open, open, open. Open can be an adjective or a verb. To open something means to cause it to not be closed. We can also use it to talk about like businesses, stores, and companies that are available for business. We describe them as open. The store is open from 9 a.m. The store is open from 9 a.m. The store is open from 9 a.m. Listen, listen, listen. To listen means to focus your attention on something, like a sound specifically. This is different from hear because with listen, we're actually focusing our attention on something. With hear, information just enters our ears. You should listen to the doctor. You should listen to the doctor. You should listen to the doctor. Birthday, birthday, birthday. A birthday is a celebration of the day someone was born. I'm going to a birthday party this evening. I'm going to a birthday party this evening. I'm going to a birthday party this evening. Retire, retire, retire. So to retire means to stop working, usually at an older age, but people like in athletics, for example, may also retire from a sport. So that means they're finished with that particular job. My grandfather wants to retire in a year. My grandfather wants to retire in a year. My grandfather wants to retire in a year. Well done! In this lesson, you expanded your vocabulary and learned 20 new useful words. Click the link in the description and sign up for free at EnglishClass101.com to get access to the full list of vocabulary you'll need for daily life conversations. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources. See you next time. Bye-bye. In this video, you'll learn 20 of the most common words and phrases in English. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. Welcome to the 800 Core English Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in English. But there's a twist. With each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important parts of learning a language. You can also get the full list right now at EnglishClass101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master English. Okay, let's get started. First is outside. 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 Outside refers to something not in a building. It's getting cloudy outside. It's getting cloudy outside. It's getting cloudy outside. Inside. 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 The word inside refers to something within a building. It's the opposite of outside. We are inside the hotel. We are inside the hotel. We are inside the hotel. Left. 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 Left is the opposite of right. It refers to this side, or if you're watching in this video, this side, I suppose. It's on the left side. It's on the left side. It's on the left side. Right. 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 In terms of direction, right is the opposite of left. We can also use this word to mean correct, but for this lesson, let's focus on meaning the opposite of left. There's a park on the right side of the building. There's a park on the right side of the building. There's a park on the right side of the building. First. 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 First refers to the number one of something. We use this word in competitions, in tournaments, in things to talk about the number one rank of something. They had their first child early. They had their first child early. They had their first child early. Second. 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 Second is what comes after first. It refers to the number two rank of something. Again, we use this in tournaments, in races, and so on. My office is on the second floor. My office is on the second floor. My office is on the second floor. Third. 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 Third refers to the number three of something. While again, we can use this word in tournaments and races, we can also use it to refer to the number three of something. My credit card bill is due on the 3rd of every month. My credit card bill is due on the 3rd of every month. My credit card bill is due on the 3rd of every month. Soap. 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 Soap is what we use to wash our hands, to wash our clothes, to wash our dishes. We can refer to all of these as soap. Bathe with soap and water every day. Bathe with soap and water every day. Bathe with soap and water every day. Toothbrush. 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 A toothbrush is the thing that we use to clean our teeth. So please keep in mind, we do not say teeth brush. No, we use toothbrush here. Can you give me that toothbrush? Can you give me that toothbrush? Can you give me that toothbrush? Toothpaste, toothpaste, toothpaste. So we use toothpaste together with our toothbrush. It's like the paste that we use to clean our teeth. We're out of toothpaste. We're out of toothpaste. We're out of toothpaste. Shampoo, shampoo, shampoo. Shampoo refers to the kind of soap that we use to clean our hair. The woman is shampooing her hair. The woman is shampooing her hair. The woman is shampooing her hair. Information, information, information. Information can refer to anything that we hear or that we read. It can refer to something written. It can refer to something that we hear in sound. Many different things can be information. Can you send me the information? Can you send me the information? Can you send me the information? Farmer, farmer, farmer. A farmer is someone who grows food or they raise cattle. Cattle, for example, is sheep, pigs, cows, and so on. A farmer can be a man or a woman. The farmer is in the wheat field. The farmer is in the wheat field. The farmer is in the wheat field. Secretary, secretary, secretary. A secretary is like an assistant. They usually work in an office, and their responsibilities are schedules, answering phones, helping customers, and so on. The secretary is on the phone. The secretary is on the phone. The secretary is on the phone. Banker, banker, banker. A banker is a person who works in a bank. They're someone that deals with money, they might help their clients, but they work inside a bank. My brother is a banker. My brother is a banker. My brother is a banker. Writer, writer, writer. A writer is someone who writes. This can be a person that writes books, maybe they write articles, maybe they write for a newspaper or a magazine, someone who writes. The writer is outlining a story on paper. The writer is outlining a story on paper. The writer is outlining a story on paper. Try, try, try. To try something is like trying to test something, or rather we are aiming to test something. It's something maybe we don't know how to do yet, or we're not good at doing yet, but we want to. I'm trying to get up at 6 every day. I'm trying to get up at 6 every day. I'm trying to get up at 6 every day. Measure, measure, measure. Measure is a verb and it refers to finding the length or finding the width of something. We can also use it to measure, to find the weight of something. More or less is fine. You don't have to measure every millimeter. More or less is fine. You don't have to measure every millimeter. More or less is fine. You don't have to measure every millimeter. Keep, keep, keep. So the verb keep can refer to holding something, often in your house sometimes, for a long time. We can also use the word keep with another verb to mean continue. It's not so easy to keep creating new ideas. It's not so easy to keep creating new ideas. It's not so easy to keep creating new ideas. Wait. 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 The verb wait refers to stopping activity, usually for a short period of time, in order to do something else. Maybe you are going to meet another person, for example. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Well done! In this lesson, you expanded your vocabulary and learned 20 new useful words. Click the link in the description and sign up for free at EnglishClass101.com to get access to the full list of vocabulary you'll need for daily life conversations. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources. See you next time. Goodbye! In this video, you'll learn 20 of the most common words and phrases in English. Hi everybody, my name is Alicia. Welcome to the 800 Core English Words and Phrases video series. This series will teach you the 800 most common words and phrases in English. But there's a twist. With each new lesson in this series, we'll include the previous lessons at the end. So after you've learned the new words and phrases, stick around and review what you learned in previous lessons. Reviewing is one of the most important parts of learning a language. You can also get the full list right now at EnglishClass101.com. Click the link in the description to access more example sentences, create your own flashcard deck, and finally master English. Okay, let's get started. First is kettle. 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 A kettle is something that you use to heat up water. You might also hear this called a teapot. The kettle is on the stove. The kettle is on the stove. The kettle is on the stove. Pot. 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 A pot is something we use in the kitchen. It's usually big and round, and we use it for soups and stews. That pot is 10 years old. That pot is 10 years old. That pot is 10 years old. Frog. 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 A frog is a small creature. They're typically green, and we can see them around lakes and rivers. The green frog is in the water. The green frog is in the water. The green frog is in the water. Pigeon. 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 A pigeon is a very common bird. They're very well known in big cities and in town centers as kind of a nuisance or a pest. Don't feed the pigeons. Don't feed the pigeons. Don't feed the pigeons. Guidebook. 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 A guidebook is a book that is intended to be used as a guide. We can use guidebooks for restaurants, for travel, for many different topics. A guidebook will give you helpful information for your trip. A guidebook will give you helpful information for your trip. A guidebook will give you helpful information for your trip. Entrance. 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 An entrance is a place usually in a building where you can enter the space. Where's the entrance? Where's the entrance? Where's the entrance? Tour guide. Tour guide. Tour guide. A tour guide is someone who leads a tour. They are the person responsible for guiding the people on the tour. Meet your tour guide at the entrance to the hotel. Meet your tour guide at the entrance to the hotel. Meet your tour guide at the entrance to the hotel. Reservation. 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 A reservation is an appointment. We use the word reservation when we're talking about restaurants, hotels, and flight tickets as well. Do you have a reservation? Do you have a reservation? Do you have a reservation? Passport. 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 A passport is a special document given by your country that allows you to travel internationally. It's ID. The passport has expired. The passport has expired. The passport has expired. Computer science. Computer science. Computer science. Computer science is a topic of study. It's the use of computers and science together. Computer science classes are on Mondays. Computer science classes are on Mondays. Computer science classes are on Mondays. Math. 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 Math is the short form of the word mathematics. It can refer to very simple mathematics or complicated mathematics. My favorite subject in school is math. My favorite subject in school is math. My favorite subject in school is math. Feel. 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 The verb feel can be used to talk about the sensation of touching something, or it can be used to express our emotions. I feel wonderful tonight. I feel wonderful tonight. I feel wonderful tonight. Draw. 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 The verb draw is the verb that we use to refer to making a picture. So we use a pen or a pencil or something else to create a picture. The artist draws a picture. The artist draws a picture. The artist draws a picture. Plan. 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 Plan can be used as a verb or as a noun. As a verb, it means to create a schedule for something. We'll plan the holiday to Europe. We'll plan the holiday to Europe. We'll plan the holiday to Europe. Sail. 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 Sail is a noun. It refers to a discount. It's often used when shopping to refer to a place where you can receive a discount. There's a big sale in the shoe department. There's a big sale in the shoe department. There's a big sale in the shoe department. Shopping. 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 Shopping can be used as a noun. It can also be a verb in the progressive form. It refers to going out to a mall or a department store to look for something to buy. I love shopping for clothes. I love shopping for clothes. I love shopping for clothes. Fourth. 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 Fourth comes after third, which is after second and first. It refers to the number 4 of something. For my 4th birthday, my mother gave me a book. For my 4th birthday, my mother gave me a book. For my 4th birthday, my mother gave me a book. Fifth. 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 Fifth refers to the number 5 of something. It comes after 4th. You live on the 5th floor, don't you? You live on the 5th floor, don't you? You live on the 5th floor, don't you? Sixth. 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 So sixth refers to the number 6 of something. This is a really good word to practice some pronunciation. Slow down that sixth, that middle part there. The 6th book from the left. The 6th book from the left. The 6th book from the left. Seventh. 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 Seventh refers to the number 7 of something. This is just like the word seven, but with th at the end. Please read the 7th paragraph of the contract. Please read the 7th paragraph of the contract. Please read the 7th paragraph of the contract. Well done! In this lesson, you expanded your vocabulary and learned 20 new useful words. Click the link in the description and sign up for free at EnglishClass101.com to get access to the full list of vocabulary you'll need for daily life conversations. You'll also get example sentences, custom flashcard decks, and more learning resources. See you next time. Goodbye. Hi everyone! Today we'll be talking about everyday American culture in the US. Last time we talked about American supermarkets and how they're unique. This time we're going to look at how much it actually costs to live in New York City. When you think about America, perhaps one of the first things that might come to mind is the bright lights and the fast pace of the big city. For sure, in New York City, everyone who visits wants to go to the big tourist locations: Central Park, Times Square, the Statue of Liberty. But how much does it actually cost to live there? In this video, we're going to talk about the actual living costs of New York City. Let's start with the most basic thing you need to live in New York: an apartment. Without an apartment, you can't really say you live in New York City. But if you want to live in the city, you should be prepared to live in a small space. More than half of the apartments in New York City are 700 square feet or smaller. That's about 65 square meters. This could be for a studio apartment, which has no walls between the kitchen and the bedroom. Or it could be a one-bedroom apartment, which does have a separate bedroom. These kinds of places cost on average $1,890 or $2,100 respectively. So expect to pay a pretty high price if you want to live in the city. But keep in mind that a separate payment is required for heat and water in your apartment. For an average apartment, about 915 square feet in New York City, about $145 is required for utility bills. This covers heating, electricity, water, and garbage. For internet and phone, however, that's a totally separate payment. One of the best things about living in New York City is how convenient things are. If you walk down the street, you can quickly find a coffee shop, a bookstore, or a supermarket. Because of this, people who live there rarely have cars. It's quite expensive to keep one in the city. Instead, people use public transportation, like buses or the subway. For a monthly transit pass, you can expect to pay about $120. And if you want to use a taxi, fares start at $2.50. New York City is known for its wide variety of delicious restaurants. You can find food from all over the world. You can get anything from a food cart hot dog to an expensive steak dinner in New York City. Because of this wide variety, however, it's hard to determine a specific average for a meal. When living in New York City, you can imagine going to concerts, shows, baseball games, and so on. But the cost of these can get pretty pricey. If you want to see the latest film in New York City, you can expect to pay about $15 per ticket. If you want to do something a little more exciting and check out a Yankees baseball game, for example, it'll cost you about $50 a ticket. And if you want to check out Broadway and see one of the latest shows, you can expect to pay about a couple $100s for the best seats. There are lots of ways to determine the cost of living in New York City, but these are just a couple important aspects. So, how does New York City compare to big cities in your country? What are some things that are different? And what else would you like to know about American culture? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. And if you want to learn more about American culture, click the link in the description, sign up for your free lifetime account, and start learning with us today. We'll see you next time. Bye! This kicked on in the middle of the shot. Jerk. Big cities in your country. No! Memories. Comment to us, please. Compare to big cities in your country. What are some things that are different?
Okay, let's try that one more time. Your hair.
My hair is like, I want to be in the picture.
Yeah, just that one.
Thanks. And then subscribe to our channel. Uno más!
After the wind.
Yeah! Hi everybody, my name is Alicia and I'm joined again in the studio by...
Michael, hello.
And today we're going to be talking about some misconceptions about America. So let's get right into it. Let's start with you, Michael. What is your first misconception that you've heard about America?
I'm going to have to start with the arrogant American stereotype. So this I think maybe in the past had been a little bit more accurate, but ever since the internet and ever since like the 60s with the Vietnam War and the hippie movement and everything going on then, this has really died down a bit. You know, I'm proud to be an American, but I'm not one of the stereotypical Americans that we're number one, we're the best, blah, blah. This really has died down. Yeah, I hear this a lot though on the internet and whatnot.
Yeah, I know what you mean, the whole, number one thing. At least for me, one of the things that I don't know, I feel like if you say that there's a greatest country in the world, I don't know, I think that's a silly thing to say, that you're the greatest country in the world. Not that I don't, support America or, appreciate all the things that America does, like for me and for people around the world. I feel like I'm treading in dangerous waters right here, right now. But I don't know, there are plenty of good things about other countries too. I'm going to stop here before I get on my soapbox. Anyway, I'm going to go to my first one. My first one is maybe, I don't know, maybe this is one that you've got as well. Hamburgers are the only American food. This is a misconception that I have heard a lot. Hamburgers and variations of hamburgers, cheeseburgers, bacon cheeseburgers, avocado burgers, veggie burgers, whatever. Anything burger is not the only American food. There are plenty of other American foods. Like, even if you just stick around in like the fast food ballpark for a while, there are like hot dogs, there are like Philly cheesesteaks, which are delicious. If you go to the South, there's all kinds of interesting like Louisianan food that you can try down there. You can eat crocodile, you can eat frog legs, which I mean probably is borrowed to some extent from French cuisine. There's lots of fresh fish like salmon from Washington and Oregon, where I'm from. We talked a lot about Tex-Mex and like California burrito culture. There is so much good stuff to try in America, and it's not just burgers. Like American food is more than just burgers. That drives me crazy when people say, "Oh, you're Americans, you must love hamburgers, right?" Well, they're great, but there's so much other good stuff to try. Yes.
Likewise, just with the hamburger thing, when you think hamburgers, you think fast food, right? And so that's the other stereotype, that even if you want a good, authentic American hamburger, don't go to one of the fast food restaurants. And that's what they think, oh, you're American, you can't appreciate the real good, high quality cheese and blah, blah, blah. If you have a really good, authentic American hamburger, you'll be really happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be really happy. It's really good.
Did I miss any like key American foods? I feel like I hit kind of like the big ones as
Yeah.
far as like, region-centric foods that are big.
That was the first thing I thought of, and you got to it, is Louisiana, as far as like something that people don't usually think about when they think about American food, and that's amazing food. And I think, to take that a little bit further, while traveling and teaching, people would say, oh, your name's not a really American name because my last name is German. But I would tell them that there is no American name. Like a truly American name would be like the Native Americans from way back when. And one of the beauties of America is that it's the melting pot, as you always hear, and that it's a lot of different cultures. So as you were saying about Louisiana food, it's probably borrowed from French, and American food isn't just hamburgers. There's a whole wide array, and as we talked about before, the Mexican food, so absolutely, there's a big variety, and it's not just one thing.
Yeah, explore American cuisine. There's a lot of it to explore, I think. All right, what's your next misconception?
Next misconception is, well, this one's a little bit specific to where I'm from, is that everybody skis or snowboards in Colorado. So this is something, I think this is natural when you meet somebody from any different state, province, whatever, is that you think about the tourist attractions of that place. And you say, so I meet another American, even within America, and they say, oh, you're from Colorado, do you ski and snowboard? And yeah, sometimes just because I'm from there doesn't mean I'd do it. And to me, I think, it's kind of a rough analogy, but it'd be like meeting someone from France and being like, oh, do you go to the Eiffel Tower every day? Like, yeah, once when I was a kid,
Yeah.
Same thing with America. Oh, just as the whole country, it's what, the Statue of Liberty and these kinds of things.
Right.
Do you ever get that? Or
Yeah, every once in a while. Or like, I'm from Oregon, so we have like, ski and snowboard culture there, but I'm trying to think if there's, when I say that I was raised in Oregon, if there's something that I usually get back, and I don't think I do. I think California maybe more so. Like, if you say you're from California, it might be something like, oh, well, do you surf or do you go to the beach? Or I think that it's really easy to kind of make an image
of that state or what that state's people might be like, and then to ask a question about that. But I don't think that it's necessarily like out of, I don't know, malice that people say such things. I think it's just trying to make a connection, like, oh, I'm familiar to some degree with your state, or I know something about your state. Maybe this is a way we can have a conversation about it. But yeah, like kind of pigeonholing people, like trying to stereotype people based on, where they're from and what you presume they might like to do. I guess it could come off as a little like, a little irritating for some.
Yeah, I don't mind it because I know that it's good intentions. They're just trying to make a connection, and I do the same thing. That I think of all the musicians or famous actors or actresses from whatever the country they're from, and I'll say that, and hopefully you're just trying to make conversation. So it's not a big deal, but again, it's a stereotype, and just try to relate it and put yourself in the shoes. Like what kind of tourist attractions and stereotictypes do I not relate to?
Yeah. Or saying, oh, I've been there to such and such attraction before. It was really nice, that kind of thing. Yeah, I think it's not
Harmless.
necessarily bad. It's just one of those things. It's like, okay. Yeah. All right. Next one. Let's see. The next one that I have, I've heard this now and then. This one that I've heard is Americans all own guns. I've heard this. I don't hear it so.
Me too.
Samesies.
Samesies. Oh.
Oh gosh, we both had this one, but this is one that I think maybe it's because of action movies, maybe it's because of the news stories that come out about shootings in America, which are horribly tragic and unfortunate. But for some reason, some people have this image that Americans all own guns. I don't own a gun.
Me either.
There's one person, two people who do not own guns, and I know that there are plenty more. There are a lot of people who do not own guns, and I mean, whether or not you support guns, maybe that's a different issue. But this is one point that's always just a little bit confusing to me. That I don't know. I guess maybe this comes from like old Western movies where like cowboys are depicted
I get
as
that
being
stereotype
kind of
a
like
lot.
this gun-toting, like gun-loving, shoot-'em-up sort of country, but I don't think that it's that. I don't think that that's America.
Yeah.
Well, all of America. There are parts of America. There are some people in America who like guns. Fine, okay, if that's your thing. It's just not mine, and it's not some other people's.
Yeah, I think the fact that we both have to kind of like stop and hesitate. It is an issue, it's a hot topic. It's Second Amendment, right? So it's always, people are constantly debating this. But I tell people, I can't think of 5 people, like in all of my friends and family, 5 people, I can't think of 5 who own a gun. There's some people who are like military, something like this, but like private people, that's really not common. There's only a handful of people I know that own a gun, and they go out shooting. It's not like a big deal. But it is a hot topic, but I hate this. Every time America, cowboy, guns, this kind of, no, I'm not a cowboy, don't have guns, I don't know. Have you ever gone shooting though?
My parents had, do you know clay pigeon shooting? My parents used to do that with their friends. They had, they would just go to a small shooting range and it's just like this little disc made of clay, and it was just a sport. It was just for sport. They'd shoot it, or they'd like fly. What do you call it? Like fling. I guess they'd throw like this clay pigeon in the air, and then you'd aim and try to shoot it. It was like a sport. And so my parents had a couple for that, and then I think they sold them after a while because they just didn't do it very often. I fired that a couple times, and I really didn't like it. It just made me feel really uncomfortable.
How old were you?
I was probably 17, 18 or so. Yeah.
It's about the age you would know if you like it or you don't.
I suppose, but
like
it just made me
6-year-old.
really, really uncomfortable. I didn't like it. But I don't know. I have known people who use them for hunting. Like I knew somebody in high school and college, his dad had one. But he'd go out hunting every year, and he'd go out and kill a deer, and then they'd bring it home and they'd like prepare it, and the family would have that to eat throughout the winter. That was like just one of their family's traditions. But as far as like a handgun, I don't think I've ever met anyone that I know of. Yeah. No, wait, I did know one guy.
See, that's
he was a little. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm really uncomfortable on this video so far. I feel like it's getting controversial.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
let's go to the last one because it's not controversial. let's go to the last one. My last one is, it'll be quick and easy to see the whole country. No, America is huge, especially, well, compared to a lot of other countries around the world. America is very, very large. I've heard of people saying, you know, like they're gonna go to visit New York, and then they say, okay, and then we're gonna rent a car and we're gonna drive to California. And the Americans in the room will go, you know how long that's going to take you, right? You have some concept of how far that is. And like, oh, you know, a few hours or, you know, a couple days. Like, no, it's far. It's like 5,000 miles across the country. So you should plan some time. I heard about a guy recently who took like a month to bicycle from New York to California. It's crazy. A little bit. He had some people give him car rides along the way. But have you ever run into somebody who like has no concept of how large the country is?
All the time.
Really?
Usually, I mean, again, like we were talking about, you want to make a connection. So usually they just name, everyone knows New York, Texas, California. That's pretty much it when you think America. And so even Americans I know, you really don't put it on scale of how big it is unless you look at a picture and you place like Europe on top and you go, wow, this is pretty huge. Generally, though, I haven't met anybody who's like planning a trip and going. I think when you plan a trip, they make a little more preparations, but yeah, same thing. They really have no idea, no like frame of reference, I guess, because it's kind of its own thing.
And then if you even want to include like Alaska and Hawaii, which are just way out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck with that. Your week-long trip. Yeah, it's quite large. All right. So those are some common misconceptions about America. Anything else you want to add to this, or anything else you would like to clear up?
Don't you dare say anything about America, because it's not true.
My gosh, just happened. Those are some misconceptions about America. So maybe we've cleared up a few things about America, or maybe we've only intensified a few of your misconceptions about America. Who knows? But thanks very much for joining us this time, and we will see you again when we have another fun topic to discuss. Bye.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to English Topics. My name is Alicia, and I'm joined by
Davey.
Hi, Davey. So today our topic is going to be how to start a conversation in English. So both of us have tried to prepare a few tips that might help you as you try to start conversations in your English language studies. So let's begin. You want to start first again?
Oh, okay.
I'll start. I can start
I'll
first.
Start.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
start.
Go first.
We're giving tips on how to start a conversation. I will start today. My first tip, very important. I'm trying to follow myself right now. Don't be shy. Very important tip. This isn't really so much a language learning tip. Well, it doesn't seem like a language learning tip, but I think it really is, because whenever you communicate in a second language or a foreign language, it can be really nerve-wracking. It can make you very nervous and very anxious to try and do that, and especially if you're talking to someone for the first time. And so the first thing is just to remind yourself that it's not a big deal and to not be shy and be confident. And if you can maintain that attitude as you begin to talk to someone, it will be much easier, I think.
I agree. Or
Thank
even, like you say, even if you are shy, just pretend that you're not shy.
That's a good tip.
You know, it's like, even if you can just pretend just for a few minutes just to start the conversation or to continue a conversation a little bit, it can be good, even if you feel shy.
I agree. And you might find too, oftentimes people who would say that they are shy, when they talk to someone in another language, they can have a different personality. It's a chance to have a different personality in a different language. So if you tell yourself that too, when you speak English, when you speak another language, you're more confident than you are when you speak your own language.
Yeah, that's
Maybe.
true. I've heard that before, actually. People who say that they feel like they're more outgoing when they speak English. If that's the case, maybe that's good for you. Also, just in general, another point about maybe not only starting conversations, but continuing them. We're comfortable, English language speakers are, with interruptions to some point. Like, you shouldn't always interrupt the other
But they
speaker.
are pretty comfortable with it.
See, he just did it. So we're very comfortable with it. So you don't need to wait for an invitation to speak in a conversation. You can just join in, or maybe agree with the person who's speaking or disagree with the person who's speaking as a way to join a conversation that's already in progress. Yeah, nice one. That's a good one. Okay,
What do you
I
have?
will share a tip.
Mine are a little bit, I don't know. They're very dependent on maybe who you're talking to, maybe what your relationship is. So let's say for this one, you are in a place where, like I don't know, a restaurant or a bar or something, and you don't know the person you'd like to speak to, but maybe, I don't know, there's someone attractive you'd like to speak to, or maybe you want to speak with the bartender, something. So maybe this is better if you're trying to speak to a fellow customer. So I have, it's sort of small, make a simple comment about something happening in the surroundings. So this should be one, a simple comment, two, something that the other person can clearly see, and three, something that you can agree on easily. So for example, if somebody has just walked by the restaurant wearing like a crazy hat, I don't know, you could say like, oh, did you see that guy? Something like that. Something that it's easy to agree on to initiate the conversation. Or maybe, I don't know, there's a TV in the bar, like, whoa, did you see that play? Or something that maybe you can identify that you maybe shared with the other person during the time you've been in that space together. So this should be a very simple comment. Don't make a weird comment here. Make it very, very relaxed. Create a relaxed environment that the other person feels they can join in easily.
That's a very good tip.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of maybe a time that I used this. Or maybe I wanted to make a comment, and there was another person that happened to be there, and we had a moment where we agreed on something,
right,
but then the conversation didn't really continue.
Yes.
So it's kind of a good way to test and see if that other person wants to speak to you too.
Yes, yeah. That's a good point. And it makes me think, this isn't one of my tips. This is a free tip. You're getting a freebie tip now. Is I think...
tips everywhere.
They're flying around.
So many tips.
To be patient. Wait for your opening too, because you might want to talk to this person next to you, but if you just butt in with a question out of nowhere, it might seem very strange. But if you wait and have a moment, wait for that guy with the funny hat to walk by, and then you have your opening. Then you have a natural point that you can enter a conversation with someone.
Yeah, and I think
so. Be patient.
Totally. And going back to your point about not being shy, like don't be so focused on waiting for that moment that you just pick something really strange.
Yes, yeah.
Like if I walked up to you, I don't know you, in a bar, and was like, "Did you hear that noise?"
Yes.
Like that's a really strange
question.
Maybe he did hear that noise, but that's a really strange question to introduce yourself.
Yeah, it's true. This actually this kind of relates to my second tip, which is very similar to your tip about making a kind of comment. Was ask an indirect question. And I noticed a lot of the comments, your tip was to make a comment, but a lot of your comments, the examples you gave, are questions, right?
That's true.
And importantly, I think that those questions should be kind of indirect questions. For example, if I'm standing at the bus stop and I want to start a conversation with someone else standing at the bus stop, let's say it's very, very hot. But if I turn to that person and say, "Do you think it's hot?" That's very strange. But if I say something like, "Oh, it's pretty hot today, right?" That's a little bit more casual, a little bit more informal.
Yeah.
You don't want to scare people with these very direct questions.
Yeah. That's true. And even a question, that's a great example. Do you think it's hot is a really weird question.
Very strange question.
But again, keeping or giving people that opportunity to agree with you. Like you're throwing a little opinion out there. It's hot, right? Oh yeah, it's hot.
That's true.
That's a really, really good one. I totally agree. But I think for that exact same reason, I've had some people come up to me and they tried to begin a conversation with, "How are you?" And I'm like,
that's
an introduction that you use for people that you already know.
Yes.
So don't try to start a conversation with, "How are you?" It sounds too familiar and it's a little confusing to the person.
Strangers don't always want to tell you how they are.
That's true. What if I'm bad? I don't want to tell you. What if I feel bad that day? Yeah. So don't use "How are you?" to introduce yourself. Nice one. Okay.
What do you have next?
Actually, okay, maybe this is somewhat related to the one you just mentioned.
Okay.
This is maybe in a party or a social event situation. I have energetically introduce yourself and ask a question about where you are. So this might be a little specific, but if you go to a social event where you're there to meet people and to speak to people, if you go up to someone and you just introduce yourself with a big smile and say, "Hi, my name is Alicia. Have you ever been to one of these events before?" Something like that can get the conversation started. But again, I feel like it's a tip that's good in a place where maybe everyone is there for a similar purpose. If you do that, like to use your example at the bus station, it's a little bit weird. Or if you're just in public, you pass someone on the street, it's a little strange to just walk up and introduce someone energetically. But if you're in a location where you have this chance, there are a couple of nice little introductory questions you could use for events. Like, that's one that I've used. Like, "Hi, is this your first time here?" Or "Who do you know at this party?"
Yeah, something like that.
"How did you find out about this event?"
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Also, similar kind of question in those situations is asking someone for help or for information, because it lets that other person know that you're not a scary or threatening person in that situation either. If you're asking for help, "Oh, can you tell me where the kitchen is? I need to put this in the refrigerator," something like that. And then that shows the other person that you're not an expert on this. You're asking for their help, and that kind of gives people an easy thing to engage you on, an easy thing to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Asking for help can be a nice way too.
Yeah, that's a good point, I think, asking for help. It also kind of puts you in a slightly vulnerable position.
Absolutely.
It makes you seem a little bit like, "Oh, I need help, so, please take care of me." It's a little bit interesting. So that's a good tip too, I think. Okay. I think we're on to number 3 for you.
We are. My last one is a very important one. This comes at the end, though, is don't take it personally if the person doesn't want to talk. A lot of times, if you try and start a conversation with a stranger, they don't always want to talk to you. People try and talk, a stranger tries to talk to me, I might be very busy, I might have had a bad day, I may not want to talk to them. That doesn't mean that they're a bad person or they can't speak English or anything like that. So if you have that experience, my first tip was don't be shy. You might be very nervous about starting a conversation with someone, and then you work up the courage, you go and you ask them a question and they don't want to talk to you. That's okay. Don't take it personally. It has nothing to do with you. You can find someone else to talk to.
That's true. That's true. And I think that's especially important because, especially depending on the culture that you're from, you might have heard like, "Oh, English speakers, particularly Americans, are so friendly or so outgoing." But if a stranger tries to speak to me or to you, maybe we're going to ignore you on the street because we don't know who that person is. Or, maybe like you say, we've had a bad day or whatever it is. There are so many reasons not to want to talk to a person that you don't know. So don't be offended. Don't be sad.
Don't be discouraged. Don't think that, "Oh, my English is so bad, this person didn't want to talk to me." Don't think that. That it could be any other reason why someone doesn't want to talk to you.
That's true. That's true. Nice tip. That's really important. Okay, then we will move on maybe to my last one. Okay, so for my last one, this is maybe among people that you have some acquaintance with. So maybe you're not super close to them, but you've seen them before, or maybe it's coworkers you're not super close to. But anyway, you'd like to make your relationship with those people deeper. You can share a story about something you did recently, something interesting, a small short story. Don't tell a long 10-minute story about, I don't know, going shopping for milk on the weekend. That's boring. But something interesting that you did relatively recently that maybe they can find something of interest or something of value in. So maybe you found a new restaurant that was good. Maybe you went to a concert and that was exciting. Maybe you met someone interesting. So if there's something that you can share about yourself that the other person might find valuable, that's a good way to initiate conversation.
Yeah.
So.
On that point, if I can add another free tip.
Oh my gosh.
On that note, it made me think. You spoke earlier about being vulnerable. Asking for help can show that you're vulnerable. Tell an embarrassing story.
That's good too.
Don't brag. Don't talk about this great new car that you bought. No one wants to hear that. Talk about how you lost your car keys immediately after you bought your new car. Tell an embarrassing story. Tell something that will make the person laugh and will make you be vulnerable and look like a normal person.
That's true. That's true. Like telling, actually, that's a good strategy. It's called self-deprecation. So it means to make yourself look bad or to put yourself in a lower status, a lower position. And it can be very effective for making friends and like making people laugh. I totally do this. It's actually a lot of fun. When you think about it, like a story about something bad happening is oftentimes more interesting than a story about something good happening.
That's true.
So
All the best comedies are about
something
terrible things happening.
Yeah. So if you have something like a little, like you lost your car keys or you had some kind of funny episode where maybe you don't look like the hero of the story, that's a really good one to share. Have you had anything happen to you recently?
Oh my gosh. I probably have.
I lost my bag. I just came back from traveling in Europe and my bag got lost between Dubai airport and Tokyo airport.
Oh no.
And so my bag didn't arrive. So I had to go 2 days without any of my clothes or anything. And then when I finally got my bag, I was like, yay, I got it from the delivery guy. I was so happy. I opened it up and then like my sunscreen had exploded inside my bag. I was like, at least I have my objects. I have my clothes and things.
And they won't get sunburned.
Exactly. Now I won't sunburn any of my clothes. So yeah. So I mean, it's like a small relatable, that moped, small relatable story. That maybe someone else can identify, like, oh, that happened to me one time, and then the conversation rolls from there. So nice tip, nice tip. Okay, are you out of free tips? Are those all your free tips?
That's all for today.
For conversation
starters?
starters?
That's all I get today.
We can't continue this conversation. That's a different subject. All right, well, we'll finish there for today. Thanks very much for joining us for this episode of English Topics. Davey, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
If you liked this video, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel as well. Also, if you want to find more content like this, please make sure to check us out at EnglishClass101.com. If you have any ideas for how to start a conversation that you use, please make sure to leave it in a comment too so we can check it out. Thanks very much for watching this episode, and we'll see you again soon. Bye!
Bye!
Today's video is on words Americans overuse. I haven't seen these words yet, but apparently it's going to be a series of words that we as Americans, I'm American, we overuse. We use too often. So let's start. The first word is definitely. Definitely is definitely a word that Americans overuse. We use it to put emphasis at the end of a phrase, to put emphasis at the end of a sentence, as in, oh, that party last week was so great. Yeah, definitely. Or to agree with somebody like that. Oh, God, literally. Oh, just in the last few days, I've seen the word literally so many times on the internet and used in just such stupid ways. The word literally means actually or truly something. This is literally the best hamburger I've ever eaten. So literally, meaning truly or actually, would mean that in that person's entire life, that is the best hamburger they've ever eaten. However, it gets misused a lot in sentences, like George Bush was literally supporting the war in Iraq or something like that. Taking a phrase like that literally would have to mean that, the former president would be, physically supporting a war with his body. Onward? Onward. Hilarious. Hilarious is the next word. I like to use the word hilarious when something is actually funny. Hilarious, of course, means something that is really funny, super funny. It's a step above funny, maybe 2 steps, 3 steps, I don't know. However, people like to use this word in place of laughter. So, for example, friends are talking, and instead of just laughing, the friend will say, "That's hilarious." And it's like, well, if it's so hilarious, just laugh. Oh, this must be the last one, because this is the worst one. This word is like. I've probably said it several times already today. For the purposes of this video, the word like is used as a filler word. So it's the same as something such as or or for example. We use like as a filler word when we're trying to think of something. It's not uncommon to hear the word repeated like 3, 4, 5 times in a row when someone is thinking. They'll say, "Oh, you know that party that I went to? Like,
do you know who was there? It just invades your speech sometimes when you're trying to think of something and no other filler words come out, but the word like does. Ah, this wasn't the last word. There is another one. Seriously. Seriously is used. Oh, it's good for anytime you receive bad news. Well, not from your boss. It's a really casual word. But if you hear something like your friend lost their job, and you can sympathize with them or maybe empathize with them by saying, seriously? Oh, that's too bad. Or, oh, tell me, like, all your problems. Oh my God, I just used like. Oh God, oh, I hate myself. Is that the end? It's the end! All right, well, I hope you enjoyed learning about a few words that Americans overuse. I'm sure that there are more words that Americans overuse, but perhaps you'll find those out on your own. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Expand your vocabulary with our core 2,000 words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free English ebook before it's gone.